Good morning. Pensioner Prepper here. It's a lovely Thursday morning, 16th of July, and I was going to do some work in the garden, but it's starting to get too hot now. I've missed my opportunity. So I thought I'd sit down here and, well, try out my new camera. No, spending money. Anyway, so we hear a lot of things nowadays. So this COVID-19 virus seems to have tipped the balance on the world economy. They talk about currency collapse, currency reset, and things like that. What does actual currency reset mean, and how would it actually affect you? Well, believe it or not, in Britain since, well, the 1900s at least, there's been several currency resets that people really have not taken any notice of. Perhaps they didn't really understand what currency reset was. I didn't understand currency reset until I was watching Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money. I didn't know what currency was. I thought it was money. Nah. That soon set me right. Okay, so currency reset. Once upon a time there was sterling. But currency didn't exist. It was money. This is only a half sovereign. Well, it's not a half sovereign, it's a half. We'll have a look at a half sovereign, shall we? Because you used to have gold currency, sovereigns. I don't know if you can see this. This is a half sovereign. So it used to be paid in gold and silver. But as you know, sovereigns were phased out. They're still used for certain transactions, even though they still make them. You still get them. In fact, for a pensioner, I would recommend in Britain that you actually buy the half sovereigns from UK Gold, because obviously silver attracts VAT. So that is a good value. The fractionary gold, that's a half sovereign. That's a 1/10 Britannia. So they're less than £200. So I wouldn't say go mad, because you can't afford to. You're a pensioner like me. So every now and again, try and buy some. Save up a little bit or whatever, but try to buy, because gold is always money. So we come back to Britain and currency reset. So besides gold, there were several things. There was silver and there was copper coinage. Now, I haven't got any silver British coins, but these are from the old colonies or whatever of British South Africa. So you remember the half crowns, the florins, 2 shillings, sixpences. Well, they used to have the threepenny piece. Some of the older would still remember, but I was a very small child when they got phased out. I even used to have a fourpenny piece, silver. It was silver. So until 1920, the silver coinage was 90% silver. 90% silver. Until 1920. Obviously, World War I and things like that had cost money. So it's 1920. I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up, but I think Britain came off the gold standard at that point. May be wrong. But 1920, or was it after the Second World War? Anyway, 1920, they took the silver content of coins and took it down to 50% silver. I suspect these may be 50% silver, I'm not sure yet. Anyway, 50% silver. So that was a currency reset. Why? Because the silver content in the coin was worth more than the face value of the coin. So you still had copper, but you still had copper and silver coins kicking around. Yeah, we remember as a child there was always Victorian Edward and things like that, coins kicking around along with the half crowns up to. But 1947, silver was phased out altogether. There's another currency reset, isn't it? That's another monetary reset. Silver was phased out. They no longer made coins in silver, even 50% silver. So that's another reset. Did you actually notice it? Well, I wasn't around in 1947, so I wouldn't say I did. But anyway, that was a currency reset. That was a reset, a monetary reset, should I say. That was a reset. As I'm older than most of you probably, not you pensioners, we're all coffee and dodgers. We had several crises in post World War II, very much so. I mean, do we remember the oil crisis? I've still got my petrol rationing card from that somewhere around. But there was always crisis and crashes. So we came to one point. Now this is the real point which I'm going to say why you do not notice monetary reset. Do you remember these? Good old British pound note. It was one of the last ones to be made, that's why I saved it. Paper. Right? They decided to go decimal. Great idea. Decimal. And so they changed this into this. The pound coin. Now, I would have to ask myself why they changed from paper to metal. Well, worthless metal at that. Well, a simple reason why is because there was so much of this, what they call the frequency, the velocity, changing hands, that it was wearing out too fast. It was getting more expensive to print it than what it was worth. After the 10 bob went out, didn't it? Very quickly. That went out. Oh, it was wearing out too fast. So anyway, they changed the 10 bob to the 50p piece and a pound note to the coin. So we went decimal. First reset was really noticed because, hold on a minute, there was 100 pence to the pound, where before there was 240 pence to the pound. Doesn't take a mathematician to work out that that was over halving the value of that pound. Over halving the value. People say, oh, but they said, oh, no, it won't, it'll work out. So they introduced a halfpenny. So, halfpenny. So then there was 200 halfpennies to that pound. Hold on, but you're still 40 pennies down. Oh, what a nice scam that was. You were still 40 pennies down. But then they got rid of the halfpenny because nobody was using it. They were throwing it away. It was worthless. That's the point. It was worthless. So they halved the pounds overnight with a simple currency reset. 240 pennies to the pound to 200 pence to the pound. That was currency reset. Simple as that. So, when we look at today, we don't have these anymore. But when I was a child, we had these and 10 bob notes. So what was the real value of that to me as a child? I never saw a pound, actually, to be honest, as a child. Lucky to get 2 shillings or a sixpence. But anyway, when I was a child, that pound note. Now I'm going to come to Mars bar economics, because as a child, a Mars bar was the most expensive sweet you could buy. The Mars bar. I don't know. Right? Now, that would buy 40 of these. 40. That? 40 Mars bars. My Mars bar economics. How much does a Mars bar can you get? How many Mars bars can you get for that pound coin today? Remember? 40. I bet you can't even get 2. Unless you go to, say, a pound shop or something on offer. I bet you can't get 2 Mars bars for that. 40. Let's say for argument 2. Mars bar economics. So what happened? Well, they said inflation, but it's not. Inflation is devaluation by a back door. So nobody noticed that. So at one point, all those years, we went from that to that. Even your copper coins are not copper anymore. It's worthless tin. Magnets will pick it up. So two things happened. Not only did they halve, well, more than half the value of your pound in your pocket. These are South Africa. They took all these nice old coins. Remember, a lot of them were 90% silver. An awful lot of them was 50% silver. So they got all that lovely silver bullion stacked up. Nice load of silver bullion. Then that just... So the Treasury was happy with that. The other thing they got was to change this to tin. So all those lovely copper coins, the old copper coins and that which were copper, pure copper, were brought into the Treasury, melted down into copper bullion and sold off as copper scrap at a nice price. Nice little earner for the Treasury, wasn't it? Not for you, because you ended up with that. 2 Mars bars. Lovely, wasn't it? Great. So that was currency reset. So what do I suggest you do? I'd suggest you, because this is going to happen, there's going to be another reset, and I don't know how this is going to work out. I suggest, as a pensioner, you might be able to buy a little bit of gold. I would not bother buying silver if I were you in the UK. Why? Because it attracts VAT, so you spend 20% more on your silver than what it's actually valued at. So you look around, possibly buy some collectibles. Yeah, I mean, I do. But as I say, with the value of currency is nothing. I mean, I've got lots of old coins which are worth nothing. I look around for old silver coins. These are old silver dollars when I can get them, but they're getting scarce. If you notice, people are going down the flea markets and they're scouring for silver coins. What I also do, keep my passport ready with some cash in it. I do savings. I don't trust banks. I do savings. So where I can, because as I said, if there's an economic crash, money is still going to be in use. Currency is still going to be in use. So I save up small denominations. These are 5 lev notes. I save up small denominations, put them away, because they will always be useful. But as for savings, get yourself some gold. I wouldn't recommend in the UK silver because, as I say, the VAT. But remember, right, the currency is reset all the time. As the Mike Maloney says, fiat money always goes to zero. 40 Mars bars. A little bit more than 1. There's the truth. So anyway, pensioner prepper, say have a very good time, and I hope you weather this coming storm better than most.